Hurricane season is winding down, and FEMA officials faced new challenges this year. After Hurricanes Helene and Milton, conspiracies were all over social media, leading to tense moments and direct threats against first responders. I talked to FEMA to learn more about how those falsehoods put lives at risk and how they plan to confront those conspiracies going forward. Misinformation affects us all, especially in times of disaster. The rate at which misinformation spreads can be overwhelming for even the most prepared people. And oftentimes, FEMA takes the brunt of it.
We've seen over the past several years that rumors and misinformation has had an impact on our ability to deliver for survivors.
FEMA Director of Public Affairs, Jacqueline Rothenberg, says misinformation interferes with response efforts, undermines public trust, and can escalate an already dire situation.
We really saw that during the wildfires in Maui that misinformation was having an impact on our ability to deliver services to people and their trust in government.
But it was after Hurricane Helene in North Carolina that misinformation and rumors took a life of their own, causing many people to become lost, frustrated, and confused. Some even showed aggression and resistance to FEMA instructions.
So one of the rumors that we heard during Hurricane Helene was that people were required to pay back, that our $750 was a loan. But that is absolutely false. We have given over $1.5 billion to survivors of Helene and Milton so far. That's over 892,000 households and over $1.27 billion in public assistance to help repair roads, bridges, schools, and infrastructure that is so critical while people are recovering from a disaster. And so we really wanted to make sure that despite all the information, that we were making sure that money was getting into the pockets of survivors and that we were helping these communities rebuild as quickly as possible.
Now, whether it's false information about evacuation routes, unverified reports of disaster impacts, available shelters, or the path of the disaster, misinformation can cause people to take unnecessary risks, endangering themselves and others. But where does it start?
Sometimes we've found that it's a game of telephone. Someone heard a rumor and they tell someone else, and then it just, percolates throughout the community, right? In some cases, I think people spread misinformation to spread fear. And I think in areas where people aren't as accustomed to FEMA or they don't understand what FEMA does entirely, because it can be very confusing, admittedly, that's where we have a lot of work to do too, to make sure that people understand what our role is and where we can be helpful.
And how do we counter it and eliminate fear, chaos, and confusion? Professor Becky Rouse from Tulane's Emergency Security Studies program says the solution is simple. We've got to debunk the myths by checking the facts and cleaving to reliable sources like FEMA to guide us through.
Have a steady flow of accurate information and places the person can go to verify it. In Louisiana, it was the Red Cross that had kind of become the conduit for that good, viable information that people became dependent upon, and that's a good thing.
Ultimately, getting the right information starts with looking to the right resources for answers. FEMA wants to be a reliable source for people and help them navigate through everything they need to know in times of disaster.
I want the American people to know that the FEMA workforce is here to help you. I have been lucky to be a part of the FEMA workforce for almost 4 years, and the people I work alongside are so committed to helping you rebuild and recover post-disaster. And I know that it's hard sometimes based on historical inequities to not have a trust in government, but I can assure you that the people of FEMA that work here, they are committed to doing everything they can to help you jumpstart your recovery. And so I just want people to know that we are here to help you. And if you are seeking help, to please do so from us.